Israeli forces demolish part of the town of Mahaibib. It's just one of many that have been hit in southern Lebanon. The Israeli army says it struck dozens of Hezbollah targets as it tries to dismantle their underground infrastructure. In the north, dozens attended a mass funeral held for over 20 displaced people who were killed in an Israeli strike earlier this week.
Today we have seen a great tragedy. We've lost a large group of women, children and elderly people who were seeking safety in the area. They were not posing any kind of threat in this battle between Lebanon and the Israeli enemy.
Israel also launched at least one airstrike against Beirut, the first in days. It came just hours after the U.S. expressed concern over the nature of Israel's bombing campaign there.
We are opposed to the bombing campaign in the way that we saw it proceeding over the past few weeks. We are opposed to the near daily strikes, and sometimes multiple strikes a day in densely populated areas in Beirut. That's what we saw for a course of 10 days to 2 weeks, and we made clear to the government of Israel that we were opposed to that intense daily bombardment of Beirut, and we saw it dialed back significantly.
Hezbollah has stepped up the frequency of its attacks in northern Israel in recent days and has vowed to continue to target Israel until a ceasefire in Gaza is reached. But Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant says Israel will not stop its assault on the armed group to allow for negotiations.
We will hold negotiations only under fire. I said this on day one, I said it in Gaza, and I'm saying it here.
Hopes for a ceasefire and a hostage release deal have been shattered repeatedly by failed negotiations, and prospects of an agreement appear bleak.
Now, a little while ago, DW's Beirut Bureau Chief Mohammed Shreta gave us this update from the Lebanese capital.
So here in the capital, Beirut, there's a significant de-escalation, kind of a fallback in Israeli strikes, despite the strike on the southern suburbs of Beirut yesterday. But that was the first and only strike in nearly 6 days. So the Lebanese Prime Minister had said earlier this week that he received American guarantees that Israeli attacks on Beirut and its southern suburbs will de-escalate. But in fact, it comes in a time when the Israeli offensive in southern Lebanon is really soaring, and as the report showed, entire towns on the border near Israel are being flattened and destroyed. And this is more and more fueling fears from locals here in Lebanon that Israel does not only want to operate against Hezbollah infrastructure, but also clearly attempting to destroy borderline villages to make it inhabitable. So people fear that they might not go back home anytime.
With that as the backdrop, Mohammed, how many people that you speak to in Beirut and around the country have faith that pressure coming from the United States will significantly change the approach of Israel's military?
So, you know, not many really. It's becoming more obvious that Lebanon is becoming all a potential target as more people across the country are being hit with Israeli airstrikes. People do not believe that you know, a ceasefire is on the table at the moment, that American diplomacy is you know, reaching somewhere with Israel. But, you know, as I said, the Prime Minister said that there's an effort to you know, de-escalate in Beirut. There's also diplomatic efforts to reach a ceasefire, but this is not really a general impression here in Lebanon. Everyone you talk to are very pessimistic about a possible ceasefire any time soon. Also, people relate to you know, Israeli official statements saying that we will not stop fighting Hezbollah. We will not stop striking Hezbollah, and any sort of talks need to be under fire. So also the fierce clashes on the border between Hezbollah militants and the Israeli military as the Israeli ground incursion continues. So this is all not signaling any sort of ceasefire talks. We also should not expect a ceasefire soon as Israel prepares for, striking Iran. We should only expect an increasing tension in that respect.
The DW's Beirut Bureau Chief, Mohammed Shreta, thank you.